All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily, where we post daily Houston Rockets content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if that's something that piques your interest. Today, unfortunately, the Houston Rockets don't play once again. I think it would have been really cool to have the Rockets play yesterday. The NBA had a star-studded field, but no games tonight. I think there's only 2 games on tonight. Eric Gordon. News came out yesterday that the Houston Rockets are looking for a first-round pick in return for Eric Gordon. You know, I've made a couple of videos talking about this subject, and I've usually mentioned I'm looking for... honestly, personally, the season Eric Gordon is having right now, 15 points per game, 50% from downtown. I'm wanting a first-round draft pick. There's a freaking garbage truck outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm trying to eat this directly after the video. We got just an assortment of donuts here. But anyways, I've made several videos. You know, most recently I made a video talking about how I want Jalen Smith in a first-round draft pick. The cool thing is, this is something I complained about like all off-season, was Eric Gordon's contract. So, you know, you're not going to be able to just do, I don't think, maybe like the Knicks could not have to match salaries, but basically at this point in the season, most teams are going to have to match Eric Gordon's salary, which is $18 million. So what I'm thinking here in this trade, whatever the Houston Rockets acquire, I actually am kind of anticipating a first-round draft pick, an older player on an expiring contract that the Houston Rockets will either just buy him out or kind of let him ride, you know, kind of like maybe like an Avery Bradley type situation last season, or maybe even Dante Exum. What's up with Dante Exum? Where is he right now? But I also think we're going to get a young player. I think we're going to get a young player out of it. But here, you know, I've been reading a lot of comments. A lot of people have been kind of pissed off that Eric Gordon is only getting attention for one first-round pick. Personally, I think it's genius. Damn, this freaking garbage truck, man. I really hope it's not an issue, but this mic can pick up some sounds. But anyways, I like even just getting one pick for Eric Gordon and a young player, because what I think the Houston Rockets are doing acquiring all these first-round draft picks is I fully anticipate probably not this offseason, and maybe, honestly, maybe not even the next offseason, but I would imagine just 2 offseasons from now is when the Houston Rockets are going to start to just kind of package them all together. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this season the Houston Rockets, let's say they fall, you know, to the 5th pick in the draft, or let's say even like the 7th pick in the draft. I would fully imagine that Rafael Stone is going to dangle as much as he can dangle to trade up in the draft. We saw it last season, picking up Alperen Sengun on an just absolute steal. The draft this year isn't as deep, but there are definitely some really talented players. You know, I know a lot of guys love Jaden Ivey, a lot of guys love Chet, a lot of guys love Paolo. I'm looking at Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero. Those are kind of my 2 guys that I'm eyeing right now. And those guys are most likely going to go top 3. Like, realistically, they're going to go top 3. They might even be the top 2 picks in the draft. It's way too early to say. I mean, what month are we in? January. March Madness isn't until March. And players can really change their draft stock in March Madness as well. So it's a little too early, but I would imagine fully, especially if the Rockets don't end up trading Christian Wood, which, if we're being real here, I don't even think the Houston Rockets might trade Christian Wood by the deadline. Like, the way he is playing basketball right now, it's aggressive. He's playing efficient. I love what I'm seeing for Christian Wood right now. I've talked about it all season. Like, I would pay Christian Wood if he's going to go 20 and 10. There are very few players in the NBA who can put up 20 and 10 average. Very, very few. So if we have one of them, I'm fine with it. I'm fine not trading Christian Wood as long as there's no internal locker room issues, which he's been known to throw some hissy fits recently this past season, kind of his whole NBA career throwing some hissy fits. If that doesn't happen anymore, I'm fine with holding on to Christian Wood, because what we can do with Christian Wood in the draft, we can dangle him, man. We can dangle him, and we can trade up for, I mean, you don't even have to trade up in the draft. You could bundle Christian Wood. You could bundle whatever you have and as many first-round picks and try and get a superstar, a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, someone who very shortly, I would imagine Cat next year is like, starts exploring it. But you know what I'm saying? A player to Karl-Anthony Towns' magnitude is kind of what I imagine the Houston Rockets are stockpiling all of these draft picks for. And the good news for the Rockets actually right now is these Brooklyn Net trades these with the Brooklyn Net trade, these draft picks might actually be really valuable. I mean, if I actually think James Harden's gone this offseason. I would imagine they all dip once that happens. And if they all dip, I mean, yeah, the Nets have like Cam Thomas, but they're looking poised for a rebuild very, very shortly. In the very near future, 2 to 3 years from now, I think the Brooklyn Nets are probably going to be rebuilding. Unless, say, they like win a championship this year, which I still do not anticipate happening, especially with Kyrie Irving only playing half of the games, being eligible to play half of the games. So we'll see what the Brooklyn Nets situation, but hopefully you guys kind of see where I'm getting at, where Rafael Stone it's almost like what the Thunder are doing. You're just trying to acquire all these first-round draft picks, not because you're going to use them all on the actual NBA draft. You're going to use most of them on the NBA draft. You're going to use at least half of them on the NBA draft. But you can also trade up. You can trade for stars. You can trade for players like Cam Reddish. Like when young players, even still on their rookie deal, if these guys want out or the team wants them out, that's where all these first-round draft picks come in handy. When teams start to get a little bit desperate, like the Atlanta Hawks, they're losing desperately this season. I thought personally they're still making a name at Ben Simmons. But they got Cam Reddish, a guy who, there's a lot of potential there, but as far as like Atlanta making the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they're looking to win like right now. Like they're looking to win like this year. And Cam Reddish just wasn't really doing it for him. Or he wasn't doing it for him enough to the point that they wouldn't take a first-round pick to try and bundle for some other star to bring him to Atlanta. So that's what I anticipate and believe Rafael Stone is doing, and I love it. You know, I absolutely love it. So, you know, it sucks because I love Eric Gordon, but at the end of the day, I kind of do want Eric Gordon gone. I would love for Eric Gordon to retire as a Houston Rocket, play out his career here, but it's not in his best interest, and, you know, to be quite frankly, it's not in our best interest. The Rockets, without Eric Gordon this season, I don't even know how many wins we would have. What do we have right now? 13. We'd probably have like 8 or 9 wins with Eric Gordon gone. So the team, the hope is that all these guys continue to develop. But Eric Gordon is, I think you could argue he's our best player on our team, or if not second best player behind Christian Wood, something of sorts. So it's going to be a bittersweet day, but I think just thinking long term, the Houston Rockets, we're not contending this year. We're not trying to contend this year. Eric Gordon, 33 years old, he's up there in age, and you know the contract really isn't that bad. But as far as developing these younger players go, I would anticipate DJ Augustin stays here in Houston, and then you get rid of Eric Gordon, frees up minutes for guys like KJ Martin, specifically Josh Christopher, you know, even Armani Brooks. Bring up some guys from the G League, Daishen Nix, Usman Garuba, once we start getting to the end of the season when you'll probably have, you know, various players shut down, maybe like Daniel Tice, or, you know, maybe even just like a starter who's been dealing with injury. They're like, we're not going to jeopardize it. The season's over. Let's just get a better draft pick. So just some kind of open dialogue on Eric Gordon. I got to eat these donuts now. But hit that like button, hit that sub button. But most importantly, guys, drop a comment down below on your thoughts on Eric Gordon. You know, I've already been reading them. I know people are not thrilled that Eric Gordon's only garnering a first-round draft pick. But hopefully, like I said, because of his salary, you're going to have to match it with a veteran on an expiring contract. And to just further entice us, because he should have a lot of interest with contenders. Hopefully and I kind of anticipate someone will throw in a young player. Like at least one team is going to offer us Eric Gordon, or for Eric Gordon, a first-round pick and a young player. I think that's what's going to happen. That's it for today, guys. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. Peace.